sell my electric bicycle for about $2,000.
Not only that, but when them bodies start coming back in body bags, there ain't gonna be nothing they can do.
But 82nd on that way.
I tell you something else too.
Mm-hmm.
Watch what I call these. This is what I call these folks the Supremist Court. Watch the Supremist Court. By the end of June, they're going to decide the case whether you can vote by mail or not. See, that's what Trump trying to get rid of, and they got a case right now that they're going to decide whether in the midterms they're going to allow voting by mail. But if they take it away, then it's going to be a lot of people can't get to the polls. You got 80-year-old grandmothers that can't stand in line because you know what they do to our neighborhoods. They put 2 machines and 8,000 people to vote. So,
but Rodney,
that's the next thing on the agenda. And Trump
that's
just
true.
Voted by mail. Trump voted by mail last week. So that's true. You better watch.
That's very true. But at the same time, you gonna disenfranchise what? Let's say 100,000 or more people that are stationed around the world,
right?
Military-wise, because that's the way. I know they don't, but I'm saying. But here it is. You want these people to go fight for you, but you're gonna tell them they can't vote, right? So now, that goes back to my thing about that 240 million that's left over, right? Now the family members of those people, they gonna feel some kind of way,
right?
Because whether it's a vote for him or a vote for somebody else, they're not going to be able to even put a vote in.
No.
So when you start disenfranchising others, right, this thing that they trying to do, understand how many and like I said the last time, they don't think about the end game. All they think about is today. They're not thinking about tomorrow or this weekend coming. They think about today, and they don't have a plan. They never ever have a plan of how you're going to. They have a plan to get in, but they don't have a plan to get out.
And listen very carefully. There's more white people that don't fit that criteria than there are people of color. So when they decided, hey, we're not going to let all these people in this category not be able to vote, most of those voters are their voters.
Because we got to keep our ID on us.
Right.
Yeah.
They too dumb to figure that out.
But not only that, they're in the majority. So by virtue of being the majority, it affects the majority more than anybody else. But the thing you got to remember in this country is people get behind that curtain and they vote for some dumb shit because they don't think nobody going to find out. And the same thing happened in both elections when he was elected. White women went behind the curtain and they voted for him.
Of course they did.
But that's the thing. But as far as the SAVE Act and voter registration, that's already Trump just killed that by voting by mail.
Yep.
So the jury, the Supreme Court can't say it's something that need to be reformed because the president just did it.
Yep.
So he's so stupid, he set precedents along the way by doing things every day that kills whatever the arguments are.
Right.
But he got 4 of them that will vote for him regardless, and one of them is darker than all of us.
Well, there's a few of them.
Listen, but that's my point, what Ron just said, right? You shooting yourself because he doesn't think about how things worked for him. Going back to the Obama thing, when they talk about they wanted to get Obama because of things he did while he was president. Well, your dumb ass sat around and they said that you couldn't get in trouble for it. So guess what you can't do? You can't mess with Obama. You can't mess with Biden. You can't mess with Clinton. Nope. You can't even mess with Bush too.
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing. Like they never have an end game. They know they get in, and of course, you know what he said. It just comes to my mind.
Yeah. give me your feel on it there, Doc. What do you think about to come around midterm? What do you think we're gonna be?
You know, with ICE, I think his plan with ICE was, if there's an insurrection, then there is no midterms.
Mm-hmm.
He can stop all voting.
Right.
But the people kind of bucked on that. So I don't know what his end game is going to be now. He's tried in this gerrymandering. And like here in Virginia, where I'm at, me and my wife, we just voted yesterday, early voting. And they got this proposition, you vote yes if we want our state legislators to be able to change the district lines to offset what he's doing in these other states, like what he's doing in Texas.
Right.
So it's a short-term thing. It's only going to last as long as he's president.
Right.
But that's something that's going to be voted on April 21st.
Just like
if it passes, then Virginia will be able to change their lines. I mean, Virginia already, this last election, we gained 13 Democratic slots in the state legislature that used to be Republican.
From unknown numbers.
What county do you live in, Doc?
I live in Suffolk.
Suffolk County. That's Fred Cherry's county. That's where Fred Cherry was born, came from. Suffolk County.
Yeah, I live right across the river from Hampton, Newport News.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I live in Spotsylvania, and Abigail Spanberger, the new governor, got her start in this district, the seventh district, and we were some of the people who helped get her started.
Yeah.
Are you gonna vote to let the people decide to redistrict?
Yes.
That's great. We got early voting going on up here. The thing that I wanted to point out was that the lady in Trump's district down in Florida, beat the Trump approved candidate, and she won. And I listened to her talk. She talked about the most important thing was contact, canvassing, knocking on doors. And for me, the way to get out the vote, I do that in Spotsylvania County. I'm getting old now, so I can't knock as fast as I used to. But the most effective way, Bobby's laughing, man, it's hard going knocking on these doors, man.
Knock on wood.
But that's the most effective way of getting people out to vote. And it's not just one time. And that back in the old days, that was called ward healing. That's what they used to do, canvass, knocking on doors. And hi, Ron, are you going to vote? And on 2 days before voting, I'd knock on Ron's door again and say, what's your voting plan, man? Do you need a ride to the poll and all that stuff? And that's the way you get people to come out to vote. My concern is that people are trying to go to this digital stuff where they do a lot of phone banking and sending postcards out to people. And I don't think that that's as effective, and especially based on what the woman said who won in Florida yesterday, I don't think that's as effective as personal contact with potential voters. So one of the things that all of us can do is, in everything we do, encourage people to participate in canvassing and knocking on doors and trying to get people out to vote. And if we do that, what Bobby said will work beautifully, because there are more people available to vote. They can pass this law, but that still won't prevent us from changing the shape of our government in next November. Bobby's right. If the more people we get out to vote, they can have all that stuff they want. It won't stop them. We can still win and put them in check. And if we don't, man, they will steal everything. The national debt limit in November is predicted to be $40 trillion.
Absolutely.
But they saying Trump adding $2 trillion every year with all of this ICE stuff and all this money he's spending, and nobody's keeping account of nothing. And that's why Christy Nome, we talked about that earlier, got fired. The guy just up there, and he was from Louisiana. His name was Kennedy. He said, well, who approved you spending $200 million, you riding on a cowboy, wearing a cowboy hat, riding on a horse? And then they said that Trump approved it. And she didn't want to answer the question. Then she tried to say, oh, yeah, we talked about it. And then she lied on Trump. So he got her out of there. He didn't care that she wasted $200 million. He cared that he got blamed for what she did because he didn't care if she did it or not.
I mean, she didn't lie on him. He had approved that. She didn't lie on him. He approved it. He just didn't want to take the blame for it.
Yeah, he didn't want to take the blame for it.
No, he ain't never taking the blame.
Yeah, she let the cat out the bag.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that all of these people around him, they not looking at, because every time that something go down, oh, I didn't know. When that one reporter asked him, like, well, aren't you the president? Aren't you supposed to know that kind of stuff? Yes, I'm the president and I make decisions, but I didn't know about that. He's telling all them people that when the rubber hit the road, I don't know what the hell you talking about.
For one of them to say, you paid to know. That's why we hired you. You paid to know.
He just threw Hegseth under the bus.
He did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but Pete and Jared, they said.
But Pete wanted to go on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to set him up.
But did you see how Pete looked at him on that?
Yeah.
Hey, look, that Joker gave him the look like, but he know he got to kiss the ring, so he had to go on, take it.
He said, "I'll be damned." But y'all got to remember something, man. The main reason why they are going after these people for immigration is they have known for the last 20 years at least, based on census, that the Hispanic population was going to be the majority voting population.
Oh, absolutely. Demographic.
And there's nothing that they can do about it. Trump went as far as last term to say they need to have more white babies.
Yes.
Because they know that the Hispanics are going to be the dominant, race in this country. So that's why they're the only ones that they're pursuing.
Listen. But it just goes to show you how stupid they are. They had the Hispanic vote in Texas and Florida, and then they didn't piss them people off.
Right.
So now a lot of them ain't voting Republican now.
No.
But then the same fools that went behind closed doors and voted for them.
Yeah.
Like folks in Minnesota, them folk in Michigan rather. Oh, we mad Kamala did come and visit us, so we gonna set this one out. Now they ass sitting on the airplane going someplace that they don't have no return ticket for.
What are we going to do?
Well, it was some of the Somalis, I believe it was.
Yeah, the Somalis did it too.
Yeah, some of the Muslims in Michigan.
Yep.
Wait a minute, who's that with the eagle sign behind him?
Smitty.
Yeah.
You
ignore that, man.
Puerto Rico's there.
Ignore that.
Was it Pittsburgh?
That's propaganda.
That's propaganda.
Hey, I don't hate on nobody's football team because I'm a Ravens fan. So
I wasn't talking about the football team. I was talking about where they at.
Oh, okay.
Philadelphia. But I think it may have been Pittsburgh where you got the highest Puerto Rican population or something in the state.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Puerto Ricans in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
That's what you saying. The Puerto Ricans serving it up more than we serving it up, man. What's going on?
They voted for Trump.
A whole bunch of Hispanics voted for Trump, and they have buyer's remorse right at this moment.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Well, like they say, FAFO.
Yeah,
that's what say. What she say? We love Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump. We love Mr. Trump. Vote for Mr. Trump.
The next thing you know, they get deported.
Hey,
that sounds like Tim.
Now your ass gonna have to vote for Maduro or some damn body, because you ain't here to vote for Mr. Trump no more. Hey, put your ass out.
But how stupid are you if you going to a rally and you holding up a sign that says "Black for Trump"? Black for Trump.
Yeah.
They
get those people. Those people get paid.
Posted? Hey Bobby, do they have that sign posted in their yard saying "Black for Trump"?
That's because they getting paid out there.
No.
They getting paid
Yeah,
out there.
yeah,
They ain't
they-
gonna have that in their yard.
Yeah, they get paid for that shit, wrong.
Now, I ain't mad with them for their hustle, because when I was in college, I used to sell blood for money.
Man, will we
You
have
gotta do what you gotta
strawberries?
do, but I'm just saying how dumb they sound and they look for $20.
Mm.
Will we have fresh strawberries and celery this summer?
No, sir.
Hey,
Yeah.
Well,
we
where I am,
gonna have some. Yeah, we will.
we're having
Well,
where I'm
$15
located,
But
right down the
they
street.
gonna
$15.
they
one of
gonna
them
be
little 6-ounce
chilean.
packets.
We had some. They gonna be chilean.
Mm.
Hey, you know, they had the same problem in Maryland. You know, they would get to every year they used to let the Mexican workers come up to pick the crabs, and all of a sudden, you know, last couple of years they didn't have nobody to pick the crabs. You know, the crab meat, you know, for crab cakes and stuff, and you know, it got to be a problem.
And they need to fix that shit.
And then they
I
trying to
get
get
my crabs.
black people to get out there to pick crabs for $20 an hour.
They need to
And they
fix
say, I'm
that
not doing
right
that
away.
stuff.
Who I got to call? Who I got to call?
Ghostbusters. Better call Ghostbusters.
Man, look. Don't let me have to go out there and vote 6 times, man.
The more the merrier.
I need to talk to my sister about that, man.
Chicago,
See what's going on.
Say, Chester, you got to talk to her, see what's happening.
Yeah, but she right up there in Baltimore, so I haven't heard her say anything.
Man, they'll shut the whole state of Maryland down if they keep messing with the crab population, bro.
It ain't no different. Ain't no different in North Carolina. We used to pick the tobacco. Guess who's doing it now?
Oh yeah, yeah. You right, Mac. You right.
Yeah,
You right about that.
Can't get my lucky strikes, man. It's gonna be bad.
Hey, Mac. Ben, let me run back for a second. We was talking about last week, Mac, when I think it was last week, a couple of weeks ago, or maybe 4 weeks ago, and you was telling them boys about how we had to plant that tobacco back in the day.
Oh.
And you were saying how you had to tote water with a peg.
Oh yeah.
But see, you didn't break it down to them all the way. That doggone peg that they had was like a funnel, right, Mac? They had a handle on it.
Oh, you're talking about the tobacco setter.
Yeah, you had to stick it in the ground and pour water.
Before that, they had a little stick. Okay, where you stick a hole in the ground with this little stick, and you put the plant in there, and then you came along with a little dipper and a little dipper, a drink of water for it. I used the one you're talking about too.
Okay.
You got like about a gallon of water,
right?
And you pull a little trigger that drops a little dip of water in there. You know,
I just want to make sure you clarified that they understood how hard that shit was when we was talking about it.
And not only that, how do you think that fertilizer get from the end of the row down to the middle of the field?
Where you slinging it?
You put it on that shoulder.
Yeah, I'm saying you slinging it with your damn hand.
Yeah, I'm 75 pound carrying 200 pound bags of fertilizer.
That's right, Mr. Hey, Gunn. Yeah, Bob. So you got to recognize. But let me ask, because we don't know. Gunn, you said your folks are down from around Georgia.
Yeah, my father was from LaGrange, and my grandmother was from Athens, the Athens area.
You lived out in them woods, any?
No, I've never lived down there. Virginia is the farthest south on the east that I've ever lived.
You military
brought me here, but I'm a city guy. I'm from the D, man. I'm from Detroit.
Oh, okay. You ain't no calluses on your hands.
No.
Oh. Okay.
Hey, that's a union worker, man.
That's right. Hey, I love the union, man. I'm a union man.
So you came up like let me see, Barbie and Bill and who else? Tony ain't here. Probably slinging papers and all of that kind of stuff as a kid.
Yeah.
Slinging newspapers. You never got down and dirty with it. You never slopped no hogs or nothing like that. Bust no roads.
None of that.
Hey, closest I've been to it was a visual.
Ain't never milked no cows or nothing like that.
None of that.
Lord have mercy.
Closest I've been to it was a visual. I seen how they do it.
I go out to the state fair and you can watch cows being milked.
Okay. Yeah, we used to have wars with them, man, like water guns. I was coming up. What about you, Rodney?
No, I'm a city guy. I'm born and raised in West Baltimore, man.
West Baltimore. How old are you?
66.
66. Yeah, I see. I'm a couple of years older than you, but yeah, I used to live around there off of you know what Silburn Avenue is?
Oh yeah, that's up near the park over there, Silburn Park.
Yeah.
Over there near Sinai Hospital.
I ran them streets over there for a minute, man.
Okay.
I had a buddy of mine. He was a little bit older than me, and when I was coming up living in Baltimore, man, that dude he was strung out on some drugs, man. I mean, later he got strung out, and I used to follow him around, man, in the drug houses and stuff, where they was shooting at heroin or whatever the hell they were shooting up. Well, I never did that, man. I didn't know what was going on. He was a little bit older than me, but he would go in the back room, man, and I'd sit up there, man, with all these people sitting around nod, man, waiting for him to come back. He never would come back, man. So I'd bounce someone out, man. But
he was probably back there nodded out asleep or something.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of some of my adventures up there in the B-more. But yeah, I'm just trying to see where you guys come from, man. What kind of dirt you had under your fingernails and stuff, you know.
Well, let me put it this way. When the Air Force recruiter came to my high school, he didn't have to say nothing but you can leave.
You haul ass.
I haul ass. He didn't have to promise me nothing.
Yeah. And Smith, I ain't never asked you.
Yeah, I got the best of both worlds. I lived in the city. Then my godparents, I got shipped off to my godparents, and they bought a little farm, and I did a little farming. I did a little bit of everything.
What do you call a little bit?
They had about 5 acres land.
I don't think you was here when we was talking about that the other week. Yeah,
but I did that.
You did that. What's that?
Planted crop. They were from the South. Godfather was from Florida. My godmother was from South Carolina. So they wanted a farm, and I was the farm worker.
Okay.
Look, I'm talking about 10, 15 acres of tobacco, buddy. All right.
I ain't did that, but I've seen it. So what we used to, we for the side hustle, you know, back then, if you was black, you had to have a couple different jobs. And one of them was that we did the laundry for the migrant workers. So back then, all the migrant workers were black, and they would come up to the camps, and we would go out to the camps, and we did all the laundry for them. So I seen all that.
Yeah. Where were the migrant workers from? You said they were black.
Everywhere in the South. They're from Florida. They're from Georgia. They're from South Carolina. So
they've all black folks.
Back then, we talking the 60s. They was all black. So what would happen is in the winter,
they lived on the camp.
Yeah.
Hey, Ed, I got a.
And then they would come up.
They would travel. From South, like Florida,
right,
and come up all the way up, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Pennsylvania, wherever, New Jersey, wherever, and they got a bus. They travel up. They stop here. They work that crop till it's gone. Then they go up and work another crop. Then they go up and make another crop.
And we used to call them bean pickers. And they come up and like I said, the Hispanics in the 80s replaced all the blacks. But prior to that, farm workers were black. Up until like the late 70s, early 80s, all the farm workers were black.
Believe it or not, in the 80s, like my fact, while I was stationed at Dover, they used to do potatoes back there, back behind the prison. Right, potato farms back there, and the migrants would come up. The black migrants would come up from Florida, and for the summer, that's what they did. They dug them potatoes up.
Yeah. So and each one of them camps was back then. Like now, you go to those camps, and they all Hispanic. Back in the day, and they was all black. They had each camp had their own little juke joint and all that stuff.
Yeah, buddy.
It was good times.
It was just like that, Chess. When
Sinners, just like Sinners.
Them jokers. They say no.
I ain't seen it yet.
I seen it.
Hey, I think Trump trying to bring some of that migrant stuff back. They trying to get rid of the Mexicans or the Latinos and put us back out there.
Hey, look. hey, Rodney.
Yeah.
Hey, you want a real civil war?
I'm retired, bro. I'm out fighting wars.
Look, them jokers talk about a real civil war. You tell Ray he got to go out there and pick some goddamn potatoes and see what happens.
If he can revoke your citizenship, he can definitely revoke your retirement.
Hey, look,
you better stop.
Tell Ray he got to leave the corner. Selling his weed and his bags that he got to go out there and pick some potatoes and stuff.
Nah, that ain't gonna never happen.
You can't sell weed in Maryland no more. It don't make no sense because they made it legal. They got shops all over Maryland now.
Oh my good, they everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, so the dude on the corner, he ain't making no money.
Yeah, not off that.
Nah.
Well, they paying them, ain't they, Bob? I mean, ain't gonna they gonna put them out there as slaves doing the shit,
Shit.
So they be paying them, with all these TSA workers, man. Them TSA workers gonna need. Look at all the jobs Trump done took, man. Shit, they gotta get them jobs somewhere.
They ain't gonna give them jobs.
AI gonna have to pick your vegetables.
AI.
Right. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Anybody plan on flying anywhere?
I ain't going nowhere.
I'm going to the Philippines in a couple weeks.
Uh-oh. Say what wrong?
There's a case that's going up before the court, right? In reference to the legality of Doge and some of these other things. So it's in the federal court right now. So what the court is looking at is the fact that the position that Musk had was supposed to be a temporary position, but some of the moves that they made as far as getting rid of jobs and destroying agencies and things like that, all of that was unconstitutional, as we know. So now the court is saying that all of those decisions that he made as a special assistant was illegal.
Right.
And all those people that was working with him are now they're considered to be liable.
Yeah,
because they made decisions that they weren't
privy to make.
Well, they hadn't been through the Senate or anything like that. They call them the advise and consent. So that's the biggest thing that's on the docket right now is they're going to go back, and it's pretty much a win-win situation because everything that they did, they weren't legally authorized to do it. So now it's in the courts.
But a lot of them people,
the courts haven't been kind at all to these guys. When these cases go to court, they lose every single one of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but when they go to the Supreme Court say it's okay.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why they're the supremacist court. They're a bunch of white supremacists.
That's exactly what.
Well, Trump got some on them, man.
Oh yeah, he put 3 of them on there. And 2 of them seats were stolen. But they went almost a whole year and told Obama he couldn't put nobody in there. No. He tried to put Merrick Garlic on there, and they wouldn't even give the man a hearing.
Look, and the person that did it, you ask him a question, he's still trying to figure out what you're saying.
Mitch McConnell.
Hey, Senator, are you gonna run again?
He's somewhere shitting in a diaper.
Man, listen.
Hey, and don't let that joker start going down because it's over. He got to go all the way.
Hey, lay down, man.
Hey, that joker. Hey, Chester, you know how you talk about me laying down?
Yeah, man. Yes,
hey,
Lord.
Listen, I don't lay down like Mitch though. Mitch got to be.
Shoot around like Weekend at Bernie's.
Hey.
But Trump doing a lot of sleeping, man. Every time you see him in a meeting, man, he out, dog.
That's because he don't sleep at night.
He out.
That joker be up. He be up like QVC all night long.
Bobby, He be up waiting for Melania to go to the bathroom so he can ask her what she wearing. Because she damn sure ain't in the same room with him.
Listen, they ain't even in the same part of the house. He don't even know. He don't even know if she used the bathroom. That's
New York. Matter of fact, the dude that been trying to serve her subpoenas all along has already proved that she don't stay in Mar-a-Lago. She don't stay in D.C. in the White House. She stay in New York. The dude been trying to serve her with a subpoena for the last 2 months, and she been running.
She got to take care of Asperger's.
Yeah, she up there. She ain't living with him.
Well,
wrong,
somebody
Bobby.
need to ask her how long did she know Epstein? Because she knew Epstein before Trump knew Epstein.
They got
That's right.
With Epstein. They have pictures on the stripper pole with Epstein. There ain't no
hell. Epstein introduced her to Trump.
Huh?
Yeah. She's one of Epstein girls.
They talking about that boy got a girlfriend.
Who?
What boy? Trump.
Barron.
Yes, his right hand.
Barron. That joker say he in college.
He can't even say college.
Yeah, something wrong with that boy, man.
I told you, man, the boy got Asperger's. I'm telling you. Hey, listen, you don't grow. That boy was what? When Trump first went in, right? He was at Trump's waist. That joker. Now Trump at his waist.
Yeah,
that's Asperger's. That's what happens. They grow tall.
With Jed Clampett say something wrong with that boy.
Something wrong with that boy, man. Something definitely wrong with him. But look, getting back to some business here, Trump and Putin, right? Why won't this dude speak up? Or they say that Putin was sharing some intel with Iran.
Right.
And Trump just, don't bother him.
Because
you've been working with Putin the whole time.
He ain't gonna listen. Putin gonna tell it all. That's why he don't mess with Putin. Putin gonna let it go.
Putin
got on him. What's he got on him, man?
Receipts, man.
Trump like the Trump like the them tall chairs with the hole in the butt.
Yeah.
And Trump like to be up under there.
And why this cap? Why this cap?
After they drink that warm milk.
Epstein was the guy funneling all that information to Putin.
Say what, Smitty?
Epstein was the guy funneling all the information to Putin on Trump.
A lot of those young girls were Russian. Trump was they got it. The whole Epstein thing was a way to set everybody up. All these rich dudes, people like Trump. They put Trump in office. They know Trump was stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
They know he don't have the capacity for nothing.
Right.
So you saying
and
Putin got some
tapes? That's why they hooked
Melania
up with him, I believe.
Putin got tape.
Putin got tape, you saying?
Listen, and that boy don't belong to Trump.
No. Matter of fact,
that boy belong to Putin.
Matter of fact, they said, from Hungary, the Russians came out with a plan on how to make sure that his election went well. And one of the first things on the list was staging an assassination attempt.
Stage assassination attempt.
Yeah.
Oh, with Trump.
For Viktor Orban.
Okay.
How are we going to stay? Well, we can stage an assassination attempt. I said, they didn't use that playbook before.
Hey, listen, bro, that's the new one.
Yeah.
So Putin know where all the bodies have been buried with Donald Trump.
Putin
buried every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I told you ever since he gave that mug that damn soccer ball, say take this to my son.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was something right there. Nobody. Then he gonna throw it to Melania. Like instead of holding it until he got done with whatever the news conference or whatever, he gonna toss it to her.
Yeah.
What do you feel on that, Colonel? This relationship with Trump and Vladimir.
Well, what I say is that there's a white supremacy triumvirate, which is made up of Netanyahu, Putin, and Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are closely associated with each other. And the unifying theme that all three of them have is white supremacy worldwide.
Yep.
So that's why I call them the triumvirate. In the old Roman days, that used to be a ruling. The rulers of the Roman Empire were made up of three people.
Mm-hmm.
And so these three people think they can rule the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's comical stuff that happens. Like finds out that Russia is giving Iran intelligence information.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Not surprised. And then he lifts the sanctions on Russian oil.
Right.
But even more than that, he lifts the sanctions on Iranian oil.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying a lot of this stuff, it just seems wild to me. I don't think there's any simple explanation for it. I just call it three, like I said, three men who have a common goal:
Mm-hmm.
to rule the world for whites.
Mm-hmm.
And as I listen to the conversation tonight, one of the things I think is that sometimes we're too gentle in talking about what's going on in the United States and the world, because to me, it's all about racism, white racism,
Mm-hmm.
white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Trump is about. That's what Putin is about.
Yep.
That's what Netanyahu is about.
Mm-hmm.
There's a young brother from Pittsburgh had a rap about Israel. It's called Checkpoint. I was listening to it a while back. I don't know where it's at now, but it talks about how people are treated over there. When you look at the devastation of Gaza,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to somebody and, well, they dropped a bomb on this building because there was a Hamas tunnel underneath it. Now you drop a bomb, a penetrating bomb on a 16-story building, so you can knock out a Hamas tunnel in the beneath, and that's the building you dropped that bomb on was an apartment house for civilians.
Mm-hmm.
That's a war crime, right?
Yeah.
It should be.
To me, it's a war crime.
It should be.
But then we don't say anything about that. That is collateral damage. And I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm just talking about all you have to do is look at the damage that was done in Gaza.
Yeah, I agree.
Look at the damage that was done in Tehran,
Mm-hmm.
where a bomb was dropped and 160 girl students, children were killed, and we going back and forth about, well, the Iranians did with one of their Tomahawk missiles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who's going to believe that? How in the heck did the Iranians ever get a Tomahawk missile? Because as I remember, Tomahawk missiles were initially developed as cruise missiles to deliver nuclear weapons.
Exactly.
It was only later that they were converted to use for conventional loads.
Mm-hmm.
So if we'd have given them a Tomahawk cruise missiles, they would have been able to load some of that nuclear stuff up on it and send it over there wherever they wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
But the president had the nerve to talk about, well, they did it with a Tomahawk missile.
Mm-hmm.
confirmed what the general conversation has been about the man occupying the White House is either totally blind or he doesn't know anything. He's not well versed on weaponry. When he doesn't listen, it just confirms that what we've said this evening, that he doesn't listen to the advice that he gets from knowledgeable people. He acts on his own. And he said that in one of his speeches. Mm-hmm. I did it because I felt that in my gut. Well, yeah. So my feeling on the whole situation is that don't underestimate the Iranian people.
Oh no.
Oh no.
They playing a long game.
Yeah, and
many years ago, I trained Iranian students to fly. So I got to know them. And one of the things that sticks in my mind when I think Iranians is these people told me they were Persians. And they reminded me of the history of the Persian Empire, Darius the Great, and all those people who wreaked havoc on the world. And so I look at it, how do you defeat some people who are that culturally strong?
Right.
And I put that in the context of me going to Vietnam about a year ago and hearing the Vietnamese who were briefing us brag about no foreign country had ever conquered Vietnam. And they were talking about DC. And they were bragging. We whipped the Chinese, we whipped the French, we whipped the Americans. And I'm saying, are the Iranians, are the Persians any different?
No, they're not.
No.
So it's not a thing of us being able to go over there and drop some bombs on these people and then get them to forget their cultural heritage.
Right.
They couldn't do it to our ancestors.
Dwight Eisenhower said in the 1950s, the United States should never get in a war in Persia. He said that. And, we didn't listen. We didn't listen.
Alexander the Great tried to conquer Persia, and they all became Persian when they got.
And another thing too, you look at when Trump started this war with Iran, what did Netanyahu do? He went and started another war in Lebanon, and he's doing the same thing to Lebanon that he did to Gaza. He's trying to destroy everything.
Yeah, he tried to stick around them.
He's tearing up the infrastructure.
Yep.
He don't want the country to survive, and that's what they're doing. They hit a water plant over in Iran, and they're gonna say, "Oh, we didn't mean to do that." Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Well, just remember one thing: what goes up must come down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah. I don't understand it, man. I mean, like you said, it's white supremacy thing, man. And going over there with all of those people, I mean, hell, they all in the UAE, man. I mean, shit. I mean, they all kinfolk, man.
Yeah.
And you got this I guess I can call him a white man, like Donald Trump. I don't know what the hell to call Putin. Is he white? Is he Asian? I mean, what?
White.
What's and Netanyahu? What is he?
He white.
Okay, like
He
said,
was one of the ones that came from.
So
Netanyahu,
when they started Israel, when they moved all those people from Europe to right where they at and took the Palestinian land, all of them people were from Europe.
Yeah, but Netanyahu went to school in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So if all these countries over there would just say the hell with it and pull together,
it's over.
It's over.
Right.
But see, within the Muslim sect, they got different ones. That's why it's like, they don't even have stick together. That's why Iran and Iraq for so long. You had Shia and Sunnis fighting each other till they,
divide and conquer.
Who was it last week that said we only serve one master? I don't care what you call it, Buddha or whatever the hell. Who was it said that? I mean, if they all would understand there's only one creator, no matter what name he falls under,
That's it.
That's right. Then
You know,
right.
They could get this thing together, man. You know.
Yeah, but they don't.
But
money in it.
Huh? See what's Smitty?
There ain't no money in peace.
Yeah, this you know, and this money thing, man. I mean, like Donald Trump, everything is money, 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 money. You know, I think the technology that we have today, if it wasn't for this thing, money. And I don't understand it. I mean, I might sound crazy to you guys, but it's just the way that I kind of look at things and see things. With the technology that we have today, the human race, no matter what color you are, we all as one human race on this planet that's rotating around this star in this system that we live in. I mean, I don't think there's any limits to what we could do as far as everybody being able to eat, no homeless people, you know, medical, just extending lives of people.
You 100% right.
But that's what y'all talked about at first, power.
That's it.
See,
that's it.
I don't understand it, man.
It's all about power over another.
Yeah.
That's all it's about. It's not about everybody living in harmony. Think about it, right? And I think
I guess that's the word. I guess that's the word, harmony.
Yeah, I think about it. I said this before. Use your man Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge hit a ball over the wall. He do it in one season. He do it 80 times. When he hit that ball over the fence, that 80th ball, they cost, let's say, $16 a baseball. When he hit it over that wall, it just become worth millions.
Yes.
Right? Why does everything have a price on it? Nobody that look like anybody on this stream right now are people that put a price on that.
Right.
Because if it was one of us back in the day, we got a baseball, what we gonna do with it?
We're
gonna go out and hit it some more.
Absolutely.
Right? We're not gonna say, oh no, we can't hit this one. This one, Aaron Judge, I got this one at the game. Aaron Judge hit this over the wall. No, they put a price on every damn thing.
Yeah.
Everything has a price on it.
Yeah.
Because they equate that a price, they equate that with power. And that's what it all boils down to. It's all about how much can we charge for this?
Elon Musk already is the richest man in the world, and he trying to fight in court for more money so he could be a trillionaire.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money he's making off of the United States government? And this guy's from South Africa. You got a bunch of guys like that. You know, Peter Thiel's another one.
Yeah, that's homeboy.
Yeah.
And they're trying to bring the South
Rupert Murdoch. All of these guys are foreigners, and they brought racism, hate, and brought their billions here, and they making even more money, and they making this. You know, it started all with Fox News. That's where it started at.
Yeah.
Well,
they didn't bring racism here. Racism was here all the time.
No, they didn't bring racism here. But what they did was bring the money to make the fuel it even more.
Right.
And going back to what I said in the beginning, when old girl that chewed the nails, right? It's people that like her that they make think. Now everybody on here is retired and receiving money, but and we got dental plans and all that. So she's right here looking, her mouth look like she, chewing tobacco and eating rusty nails all at the same time. Right? But she's better than me because she's white. Not because she has anything, but the people who have it, they are making those people think you better than them, regardless of what they have, regardless of what they do. And I think I said something about this the last time we was on, where the people are telling, they're on camera and they're talking about how the black man has a $100,000 vehicle, right? How does he get that? And I've been working here and I've been living here and I've been doing this for this many years, And as they're talking about it, supposedly the guy riding, there he is right there. Like, maybe he saved his money to get that because that's what he wanted.
Right.
You don't know if he worked 40 years and saved $1,000 a month to get that damn vehicle. You don't know that.
Right.
You just assume that because he's black, he shouldn't be able to afford that.
Exactly. I can't.
Yeah, because I can't. Well, maybe you, if you stop chewing on the nails and the tobacco and get your mouth right, somebody will hire you so you can save some money. Right. So because nobody put you in the front of their spot unless you down in Bumjack, West Virginia, right? You know, nobody put you in the front of their spot with your mouth like that. Because I'm gonna tell you, if I go to a restaurant, your mouth like that, I'm getting up. I'm gone.
Well,
I'm gone.
Yuck mouth.
You know,
listen, man, I'm not doing it.
You know, years ago, Lyndon Johnson actually said, and I looked it up. He actually said this: if you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best black man, he won't mind that you picking his pockets.
Yeah. Yes, he sure did. Yep.
That's exactly what's happening today. They capitalize on ignorance.
Oh yeah. That's why Trump said in the beginning, if I ever run for anything, I'm gonna run Republican because they dumb.
Yeah.
And he's proven it every day.
And he said, I love
dumb
the uneducated.
The uneducated, that's what he said.
I love the uneducated.
But he proves it every day.
I work with a lot of them. I tell everybody, and it's the God's honest truth, the most racist people I ever met were police officers that I worked with, and I worked with them for over 40 years. And to the day I started and to the day I ended, I had all kinds of them. Now, all of them weren't like that. I'll grant you that. It was probably wasn't even half of them. But the ones that were, they were hardcore. Oh,
yeah.
And didn't care who. I had the same thing at the prison, the same thing. You know, they want to be around there treating the black guys wrong till they go upside their wig. And they split that wig. Split that wig open. It was over.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't say no. We had one boy. He was so bad he couldn't even come on the compound. He had to ride perimeter for his whole career because the inmate told me if you bring him up in here, he ain't leaving out the same way he come in.
So he done, huh?
See, they go, as that girl just say, they gonna cook his grits.
Well, look, guys, we didn't hit that 2 hour.
This was fun, fellas. I
know Dunn it probably was the fastest 2 hours Gunn you ever went through. What I normally do at this point, man, I'm asking you to come back if you want to in the future. Every 2 weeks we do this. I go around, give everybody one more shot at whatever they want to say, and then we're gonna close it out, okay? But yeah, man. Where I live down here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, man, you go into the Walmart. I'm gonna take the first bite. I go into some of these Walmarts, man, and every now and then I may run into a McDonald's with one of my grandsons or something like that. They may want a hamburger. I try not to eat that shit, but I see these old people, man, older than me. I mean, they working. They ain't just in there cause they trying to have something to do. They trying to put gas in the damn car or pay the rent or whatever it is they trying to do. And I see these guys standing on the street corner with these signs up. I work for food and this kind of thing. And the older I get, it's just the more I just don't understand how in a country as great as this country is supposed to be, and from where I come from and from what I've seen and the places I've been in the military, why things are the way that they are today, on this planet. I just don't understand it. I guess I watch too much Star Trek and shit, man. I don't know. I just don't understand it. I mean, that's the way I feel the way things should be. Where you could just, I watch, sci-fi, Star Trek, whatever, shit like that, man. I don't see nobody walking around with debit cards and, all this shit, man. There's no reason why we haven't built a base on the moon or Mars or, just exploring the solar system instead of all this bullshit that's going on this planet. I just think we can do a lot better with what's going on, but I don't know. But that's what I got. Ron, what you got, man?
So
somebody turn that TV down, man. Somebody playing a TV that's kind of bleeding over. But go ahead, Ron.
We talked about a lot of things, man, but the one thing that we got to always remember is this country, the people, the majority race in this country is, in their minds, they're fighting for survival. And when people who are fighting for survival, they are liable to do anything and everything that's possible to stay on top. Whether they rig the game, the vote, or whatever it takes, they're going to do it. But the sad part is that, this country lost its humanity a long time ago. You wouldn't have homeless people if this country cared about humanity. This country's got more wealth to take care of the citizenry, but they don't give a damn. It's just like we've been talking about. It's all about the dollar. It's the haves and the have-nots. The people that have it don't give a damn. I can afford $4 a gallon. You know what I'm saying? If them damn tomatoes cost $5 a piece, I'm still gonna get 3 of them. And you look at most colleges, a lot of HBCUs have food banks within the college because the students can't afford to buy the meal plan and they have no money to eat. They also have students where when they get to graduation, they owe parking fees, library fees, whatever it is. And those fees keep them from, receiving their degree because they don't have that extra money to pay the fees. And over the years, 3-4 years, and the interest or whatever accumulated, and a lot of them don't get their degree because they owe fees. Mm-hmm. But a lot of our folks don't realize if they look at the establishment of HBCUs, look at the date, that's significant. But we don't, as a race, we don't seem to care about that. These universities came on as land grants, and they started not many years after slavery. And the main thing about slavery was to keep everybody ignorant and dumb. Because if you can read, you can comprehend, then you know what I'm doing. So now they just gave up the game and say, hell, we don't give a damn if you know what we're doing. We're going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. So you got everybody else believing that they can do that as well. But it's going to come back on a lot of people, man. And they, it's just like now the people, you asking me to work for 4 or 5 weeks and I don't get a paycheck. Mm. And you got the nerve to ask me that shit. Think about that. That's what they call mighty white. Mm. You're going to get your money. Now, when it comes time to give these people their back pay and things like that, oh, well, it's a lot of money. We're gonna give you half of it. You're going to get the other half at Christmas time or something like that. So it's a Ponzi scheme, and this country's always been like that. Mm. And what burns me is, we just got a lot of people just walking through, man. They not in this game at all. Mm-hmm. They not in it at all. They just think, what I'm gonna do about it. And it's sad, I mean, you see people at these signs with these cardboards. I don't know if it's legitimate or not. I think it's a new form of, a new corporation. I think a lot of these people with those cardboards have LLCs and shit. Because there's just too many of them. Mm-hmm. But the sad thing about it is we're talking about fighting a war and telling other countries how they should live, and we don't even give a damn about how we live.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the thing that I just see every day. That just strikes me as, you know, that's just like they say, that's just mighty white of you, you know, mister. You know?
Yes.
And I always go back to bosses, you sick? No, boss, we sick. You know? Because that's where they want us to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That's my burn for the day.
All right.
Good.
Bobby Jones.
Oh man, I'm gonna piggyback on what y'all talking about here, man. And you know, I always talk about the masses because I'm a firm believer that the masses run any country, not just this one. But there's no way that we should have hunger in the world, not just in this country. We shouldn't have hunger in the world. I can't remember the brother's name, but I think he played for San Francisco. And he walked away from a $37 million contract to start a farm. So now he does farm aid. So what he does, everything he grows, he gives the food banks. Right? But this can be done and people can still make money. Right? Don't wait till the last minute. You can't sell it or whatever to decide to feed somebody. Feed them first. You know, one thing I was taught coming up was when you receive a paycheck or you receive money and you got to get money out, pay yourself first. That was one of the things I was taught. And that is something that I carry with me every day. And you know, the thing about people being hungry and you know, I see it in the school where kids who if say they get lunch, once they hit $10 negative, they get lunch, but they can't eat. Say if they got pizza. Well, you don't get pizza, you get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You know, because you owe the school money. So you can't eat this, that, and why? And, you know, with the education system, why do kids even have to pay for lunch?
Exactly.
Why do they even have to pay for lunch? You know, that alone is a problem. Then we turn around and we don't even want to educate them properly. We want to take books from them because it has a certain word in it. And all of this goes together because, you know, the things that you guys are saying and things about hunger and all of this stuff goes together because a lot of these kids that are coming up, they are like that supervisor that some of us had, right? Where somebody treated them bad. So now they want to treat somebody else bad, but they didn't like it when they were getting treated bad. Right. So all of that stuff comes together and it comes about where I especially me, I try to treat people, I don't care how young you are, I don't care how old you are. I try to treat you with the most dignified way I can find. But don't make me act like the butthead, because I can do that too. And I tell the kids that in school, like, yo, we can come in this classroom, we can have fun all day. Don't do what I ask you to do, and I don't care. But if that's not being done, then I gotta be a butthead. But like I said, there's no way we should be hungry in the world, not just in the United States. I'm good.
Smitty.
Hey, I'm gonna veer off just a little bit. I don't know.
Always.
It don't matter. It don't matter where you go. We're gonna go with you. Go ahead.
You know,
I don't know if y'all saw the thing I sent out earlier where the Army has raised the age going to the military up to 42. It's just something to keep an eye on because it's not an accident. It's not.
They raised. I missed it. They raised the what, Smitty?
They raised the enlist
the age that you can enlist.
42
Oh, really? Up to 42.
to 42.
Damn.
42.
And if you can come back if you want, Chester.
Yes.
Come on now.
But no, so like I said, this is not an accident. I'm thinking that they're looking at their numbers and they're expecting to lose a lot of people. So let's keep an eye on that. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it alone, but let's just keep an eye on that.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up. I hadn't heard that.
I thought I sent it to you in an email. So
okay, I didn't see it. Okay,
now, you didn't. Did you send it? Let me see. Go ahead. Go ahead. I forgot what group you sent that to. No, you didn't. You didn't send it to this group. You sent it to Tony Burgos and them.
Okay. Well. Okay. I sent.
I'll send it. I'll send it now.
Okay.
That's all you had, Smitty?
That's all I got. I'm gonna leave it alone.
What you got, Rodney?
What I look at is the last 50 years of the redistribution of wealth. And this started with Ronald Reagan. There used to be a time when the largest employers in this country were the auto industries. And they employed the most people, paid the highest wages, gave people the opportunity to buy homes and jobs and take care of their families. Now, the biggest wage employer in this country now is Amazon. They ain't getting you nothing. So you went from being successful in this country, was being a millionaire, to now you got to be a billionaire. And you know where that money came from? The middle class. That's why we don't hardly have one anymore. And, you know, you can just see it when it started with Reagan. He fired your air traffic controllers. You know, they called us black women, called black women welfare queens, called us studs eating steaks and all this old kind of crazy racist shit. And then that what brought up Trump, because every president got worse since Reagan. Then you had George W. Bush doing the same thing. Then you had his son doing the same thing. Then you had Trump taking it to a whole nother level. But this all started back in the 80s when we were just starting our careers and starting our families and trying to build wealth for us. And every decade, it got less and less and less and less to people are barely surviving. And then you got billionaires controlling everything.
Yeah.
Preach.
You're right. That's your spiel?
Yeah, that's my spiel for the day.
All right, brother. Mr. Gunn.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to once again thank you guys for inviting me in. I think probably one of the biggest, not the biggest thing in our country, was several things. Lack of spirituality, the destruction of our Black families, and apathy. All those things together are just killing us. You know, people are walking around thinking they can't do anything, but then they don't vote. Well, if I vote, it don't count. Well, if you don't vote, it does count. It counts against you. We as retired military, we're so fortunate because we have something that's coming to us every month. But there's so many people out here hurting that it's just sad, especially to see our black families just destroying each other. You know, I live in Suffolk, which is probably the biggest city in Southern Virginia. But you got Hampton, Newport News, Virginia Beach, Williamsburg. I mean, every night, young brothers are killing each other. For what? They couldn't tell you why. They're just doing it. They've fallen into that trap. somehow we've got to get our spirituality back, and we got to get our families back. Otherwise, we're down a road of destruction.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Let me ask you, Mr. Gunn. Doc,
call me Doc. Call me Doc.
It's kind of the same situation down here where I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina. These kids, man. Now I don't see it coming from the white community. I don't see it coming from the Hispanic community down here where I live, and it's all of us in this area here. With Fort Bragg, it's a melting pot. Okay, but these young kids, man, us at the skate rink, they got these jump parks. Every weekend, there's gonna be something going on with them. I don't know, man. You got any? Can you tell me what you feel it could be? What's going on with them?
I think it's, like I said, I think it's a destruction of the family.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough men.
Men, okay. That's
not
where I was
enough
going.
Men that's at the head, which we're supposed to be at the head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And these kids, you know, a woman can't teach a young man how to be a man.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Only a man can do that.
Yeah.
And when the factory, the American way is to put all the black men in prison. You go to prison for some of the littlest stuff, mandatory minimums, all that crap.
Yeah.
I went into when I went back home a few years ago, they had just legalized marijuana in Michigan. And I went into this dispensary with my sons, and they have all this weed up on the walls and stuff. And I told them, I said, you know, I know guys that went to prison for this, and now it's on the wall being sold for money.
Yeah.
And you know, Smitty talked about them raising the age because young guys are not joining the military like we did. No. They try to lie to us and say, oh yeah, we don't have any recruiting problems. Yeah, they do. They got recruiting problems.
Major recruiting problems.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Mac Lynch.
All right, y'all. I think I'm going to someplace else.
Where you going, Mac?
Well, growing up, whenever you read the newspaper, and you know, whenever you see Chester Hegseth got a speeding, Chester Hegseth color got a speeding ticket. Every court thing, if it had your name there behind it, it would say the word color.
Is that right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Most of y'all don't know nothing about that. Yeah. So if you committed a crime or you did something good, every time your name was mentioned, it made sure you knew you were colored. Okay. And that word color is the word they used. Okay. And now they don't use that word, but they come up with another one, illegal alien. I mean, every time you see a undocumented person in the U.S. that's committed a crime, they make sure you know he is undocumented. You know, and I think that's a deliberate way to get people to go against each other. That's how they get you to hate the undocumented people. That's how they got you to hate the colored folks. Okay, you know, you can't be accepted. They lazy, they stink, and they're gonna steal from you.
They steal, yeah.
And they'll kill you and rape your women, as somebody said famously going down the escalator. Okay. And I'm just going to leave it there. That, you know, I realize that's probably not a big thing, but it's something that bothers me whenever I see a person that's committed a crime identified by where he's from or where he doesn't belong. You know,
Yeah.
that person committed a crime. Okay. Uh, don't get me wrong. If you're here and you're a criminal, you need to go.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need to go. But you
Yeah.
know, I don't know, just identifying it makes you look at other folks and think they go to murder your daughters and rape your daughters,
Right.
and that's the whole goal of it. And same thing for the goal for the newspaper to identify you as color. Okay, is to just disenfranchise you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hope you guys have a good week.
All right.
All right.
Before I give it to you, Colonel, I want to say one more thing. Us, 7 veterans and 1 retired police officer here. Somebody was saying that, yeah, we pretty, I guess I won't call it lucky or blessed. I would say that we're in the positions that we're in from serving, not having to get out there and work and, this, that, and the other to survive. One thing I try to do when I'm out, if I'm in the grocery store, if I had that feeling or I can identify, maybe a elderly person in front of me buying some groceries, or maybe a young single, well, I guess may not be single, young mom with, some little kids, and, you kind of get a feel that maybe she's doing this thing on her own. Sometime I'll just buy the groceries, to try to help out. Just one thing I try to do I guess it makes me feel good anyway, to know that I'm trying to contribute something to the community. But yeah, man, but I really must say this, because Colonel Jordan get ready to land the plane, and after he touch it down, everybody can go ahead and sign off. But I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me on the edge, man. And I hope, Rodney, you continue to come, and Dunn, you continue to come, man. I'll send you the invite out every week from now on out. Hopefully you'll come on in. But yeah, I just appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with me on the edge, man. And Colonel Jordan, take us home, man.
Yeah, well, I want to thank everybody on the call for the comments. I thought that they were on point. I was especially focused on what Doc said about the breakup of the family, because there was a Monahan report in 1965 that talked about the breakup of the Black family, and Black leaders at that time called it racist. Also, I was present to our country being rich enough to give kids lunch. And one of the things I've been very proud of down here in Spotsylvania County is that at my insistence, they finally instituted free breakfast and lunch for all students, no matter what their economic background was. And the reason for that is that I didn't want a stigma to be put on any student for getting a free lunch or free breakfast. Because, if I went there and I got a free lunch and somebody else didn't, it wasn't available to other people, it was only available to me because my parents were poor, then people would say, you're poor on welfare, because y'all know how kids do each other.
Right.
So and they've done the same in the state of Minnesota. And I think Bobby talked about that. We're rich enough to do that.
Yeah.
And that caused me to just share a final thought with you about how does our system, our economic system, explain the human condition? when you see that man who has a sign saying, I'm homeless, anything will help, why is he doing it? Is that because of the system we have, or is that because of a failing? Now, my point, many years ago, I was asked by a senior, why newly the independent countries were leaning towards socialism. And my answer was, the capitalist explanation for your human condition is it's your fault. Doc, it's something you didn't do. Smitty, if you'd have been in them books, you wouldn't be where you are. Bill, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. We never look at the system and see what impediments that the system has that prevents our children from nourishing and growing. And for me, that's what we have to start looking at, is not the individual, but what systemic impediments we have that result in human beings at my age of 80 years old or more plus having to stand at a street corner and hold a sign saying, I'm homeless, I don't have anywhere to live, anything you give will help me, God bless you. And I just read something about the day in the paper from Rick Scott, Senator of Florida, talking about big government and free market. There has never been a free market in the United States of America. That's a myth. Government has always helped people. One of the reasons we're in the situation we're in now is because globalization caused our economy to change from an industrial economy to a service economy. When I was growing up, you could see pictures of all these guys getting off work at shift change with their pail buckets going home with retirement plans. You see that now you have to go to a foreign country because we globalized, because the rich decided that it was more profitable to exploit cheap labor in China and in Asia and other countries rather than pay an American a decent wage. Rick Scott talking about big government has failed. The regulations that we have in the government were put there for a practical reason. Why did we have child labor laws? Why did we have child labor laws? To protect children. They had children 9 years old working in a plant, getting their hands cut off, right, or being killed by a machine. Why did we have OSHA? Because workers, it was needed for practical reasons. And you say that these are the things that hold back a free market. No. All I'm saying is that I don't know exactly what the answer is, but I think that if we start looking at, instead of looking at people as being in a situation because of something they did, it's their fault. Maybe we ought to look at the circumstances that put them in that position. And the final thing that I would say is that, and y'all know I'm not a very religious person, but one of the things that the teacher said that I'm always cognizant of is, whatever you do to the least, you've done to me. And with that, I want to thank y'all for the conversation and the important points that each of you shared with me tonight. I'm complete.
Thank you. I'll see you gentlemen again in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All
Good
right.
night.
All right, fellas. Have a good one.
All right. Enjoy the weekend.
Yep.